Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Moshood Adams. I'm a cloud engineer at Cecure Intelligence Limited, and I'll be walking us through the agenda that we have for today. So we'll be looking at an overview of the AWS well-architected framework. Once we are done with that, we'll be looking at the 6 pillars of the AWS well-architected framework. And after that, we'll be looking at the benefits of carrying out regular AWS well-architected review. Also, is building sustainable, resilient infrastructure. And after that, we'll be having a live demo. And once we are done with that, we'll be looking at best practices for conducting regular AWS well-architected reviews. So I want to direct these questions to our participants today. I want to ask them that if they look at your workload, this is me directing these questions to our participants. So if you look at your workload that your team is building or you have in the cloud, how confidently can you answer these questions? Are you well architected? So this question is directed to our participants for today. Walking us through what AWS well architected framework is. So AWS well architected framework, like the definition here is saying, it is a collection of best practices for designing, deploying, and operating secure, high-performing, cost-optimized, and reliable infrastructure for your application on AWS. So what this is basically saying is that when you adapt to this AWS well architected framework, it will help you to design, it will help you to deploy, it will help you to operate secure and high-performing, cost-optimized, and reliable infrastructure for your application. So like this is actually saying it is a collection of best practices. This AWS well architected framework is an iterative process, meaning that since cloud infrastructure are dynamic, when you have your cloud infrastructure, obviously you have different services that are actually working together to help you achieve your business goal, right? Cloud environments, they are dynamic. Components are working with each other, resources are working with each other. That data is going in your workload, data is coming out. You're actually like adding features to your cloud environment. This is actually like telling us that the cloud environment is iterative. It is not static. It is not like in a state of being the way it is like forever. Like the services are behaving with each other, they are interacting. So carrying out regular review ensures that this infrastructure, your workloads, evolve with new services, technology, and security needs. Like I said, the cloud environment is dynamic, components are working with each other. That means that regular review will ensure that your architecture evolves with new services, technology, and security needs. For this AWS well architected framework, we have verticals in this, and we have 3 verticals. We have the learn, we have the measure, and we have the improve. For the learn, this is you learning the best practices and strategies for your cloud journey. And for the second one, which is the measure, this is you measuring your architecture against these best practices. So when you learn the best practices in the first vertical, which is the learn, for the second one, this is you putting your workload against the best practices. And that is actually when you'll be able to like find issues in your workload. And lastly, we have the improve. This is you improving your architecture by addressing the issue that you were able to like find out in the second vertical, which is the measure. So those are the 3 verticals that we have in the AWS well architected framework. The AWS well architected framework has 6 pillars, and what these pillars, what they are basically doing is to help you to achieve the benefits that I listed when I was like defining what AWS well architected framework is. I said when you make use of this collection of best practices, it will help you to be able to have a cost optimized, a secure, a high performing workload in the cloud. So we'll be looking at these 6 pillars, and the first one is operational excellence. The second one is reliability. The third one is the second one is security. The third one is reliability. The fourth one is we have sustainability. We have cost optimization. So those are the 6 pillars of the AWS well architected framework. And I'll be like taking time to help us go through each of these 6 pillars briefly. So for the operational excellence, this is addressing running, managing, and monitoring your production workloads for you to be able to deliver your business value and continuously improve on supporting processes and events. I'm hoping that we can actually like see the continuous improvements on the screen. And this is like I was saying that I said the AWS well architected is an iterative process, so it must be continuous, right? So that is the operational excellence. For the security, which is also a pillar, what this is actually addressing is to help you protect information, system, and assets from the outside world with risk assessment, unplanned failures, and mitigation strategies. So when you actually follow this pillar, it will help you to protect your workload, right? Your infrastructure. And your infrastructure comprises of information, services from the outside world, right? This is what this pillar is about, and it will help you protect your cloud infrastructure in its entirety. The third one is reliability. This is actually addressing having an automatic, it will help you to automatically recover your workload from infrastructure, power, or system failure with with dynamic resource management. So when you adapt to this, it will help you to set up dynamic resource management to help you to meet your operational workload. Anything failure, infrastructure-wise, power-wise, system failure, this pillar will help you address those failures. The first one is performance efficiency, and what this is basically saying is that this is using computing resources efficiently to support on-demand changes for delivering workload with maximum performance to meet the SLAs. So you have your SLAs. This is actually going to help you to have to set up processes to help you to support on-demand changes for you to be able to meet your service level agreements. This is actually talking about using your computing resources efficiently. That is what performance efficiency is actually addressing. The fifth one is cost optimization, and this is geared towards eliminating unwanted costs and replacing your resources with cost-effective resources without it impacting the business processes and business needs. So when you follow this, when you adapt to this pillar, it will help you to eliminate unwanted costs and replace your resources with cost-effective resources without it impacting your business needs. And lastly, we have the sustainability, which is the final pillar of the AWS well-architected framework. This is going to help you minimize the environmental impact, especially energy consumption and efficiency of your running workloads. So when you adapt to this, it will minimize the environmental impact that your workload is going to give off. So those are the 6 AWS pillars, the 6 pillars of the AWS well-architected framework. Like I said, when you adapt to this pillar, you enjoy the benefits of the AWS well-architected framework. So we'll be looking at like I was saying when I was walking us through the agenda that we have for today. I'll be looking at the benefit of regular AWS well-architected review. One is optimization of cloud infrastructure. So when you carry out regular AWS well-architected review, you're able to enjoy these benefits. And one is carrying out regular review to help you identify opportunities to improve your workloads, optimize resource allocation, and reduce latency. This is when you actually carry this out, it will help you to achieve your performance efficiency well-architected pillar. Like I was saying, performance efficiency is one of the pillars of the AWS well-architected framework. So when you carry out regular review, you will be able to identify opportunities to improve your workloads, to optimize resource allocation, and to reduce latency that your workload is actually giving out. Also is performance efficiency. This is streamlining operation with automation and monitoring. When you continuously carry out regular AWS well-architected review, you'll be able to improve your processes through automation and auto-scaling with managed services. When you make use of AWS services like EC2 auto-scaling group, and you also make use of managed services we have so many managed services that AWS that they offer, right? So when you make use of this is going to help you achieve the operational excellence, and this is you streamlining operation with automation and monitoring. That is the first benefit of carrying out a regular AWS well-architected review. The second benefit that we'll be looking at is enhanced security. So when you carry out AWS well-architected regularly, you'll be able to identify your security gaps, ensuring best practices. You'll be able to understand what is actually going on. Like I said the AWS well-architected is an iterative process. Your cloud workload, the infrastructure is not static, it is dynamic. So that means you need to regularly assess your workload, and that way it will help you to have an enhanced security. When you have a continuous security monitoring, you'll be able to assess security gaps and ensure best practices. You'll be able to proactively identify vulnerabilities, ensuring compliance with industry regulations. That is the only way you can actually identify the vulnerability when you carry out the AWS well-architected review regularly. Also is the security pillar focus. This encourages encourages the implementation of multi-factor authentication, likes of MFA, data encryption, and incident management policy. It is actually when you actually like carry out a regular AWS well architected review, you'll be able to like identify that, oh, for this, I have to like set up multi-factor authentication. For this bucket, for this S3 bucket, I have to like set up encryption. I have to like have incident management process in place, because obviously you have so many services in you might have so many services in your infrastructure. There are so many services that are actually interacting with each other. And when you don't carry out the AWS well architected review regularly, you will be able to like identify all these services and put the right security mechanism in place. So that is how to like that is those are the benefits of carrying out carrying out regular AWS well architected review. And lastly, the third benefit of carrying out regular AWS well architected review that we'll be looking at today is cost reduction. So when you carry out regular AWS well architected review, you'll be able to discover underutilized resources, over provision services, or opportunities for reserved instances. So when you actually you carry out this review and you don't just abandon your cloud infrastructure and not monitor it. So it is when you actually like carry out all this review, you'll be able to like discover underutilized resources. Like I said there are so many resources that are actually working together to help you meet your business goal, right? You can't keep track of everything without actually going inside your AWS cloud infrastructure and carry out review. You can't keep track of all these services unless you carry out the regular review of the AWS well architected review. So that way you'll be able to like achieve cost optimization. And also is a continuous evaluation. So when you carry out this review, it will help you to identify and eliminate idle resources like unused EBS volumes or dormant EC2 instances. Like I said, you might have like hundreds of servers in your cloud infrastructure that are actually working together. Some might actually like be idle, some might actually like you don't actually need some, and it is only when you actually carry out this regular AWS well architected review that you'll be able to like identify that, oh, for this server is actually idle. I actually don't need this server. Okay, let me terminate it, and that way you'll be able to like reduce costs. But if you don't carry out regular AWS well architected review, you won't be able to like identify all these services that are actually ideal or they are actually unused. So when you carry out regular AWS well architected review, you're able to identify services, and that way you're able to like eliminate them, and it will help you reduce costs. So those are the benefits of carrying out regular AWS well architected review. Like I was saying, one of the agenda for today is looking at building sustainable, resilient infrastructure. And you can actually achieve this by having ongoing assessments. So ongoing assessments makes it possible for businesses to evolve their cloud infrastructure in response to growth and changing demands. So when I was explaining one of the pillars of the AWS well architected framework, I believe that we were able to like understand some of these pillars when I was like I actually like explained the operational efficiency pillar, where we're actually like talking about scalability, resilience. So when I was like explaining this, I actually like briefly touched it, and this is like to buttress more on this. This is we achieving scalability and resilience. So AWS well architected review identifies areas to improve scalability, ensuring your workloads can actually grow without performance bottleneck, and also is a disaster recovery and high availability strategies. So when you actually like carry out review, you'll be able to like have mechanism in place that will help you against failover. You'll be able to have backup and recovery procedures. You'll be able to have them up to date. It is only when you actually carry out regular review that you'll be able to like achieve disaster recovery, high availability strategies. They'll be up to date, because like I said, I'll emphasize more on this. Like I said your cloud infrastructure, they are dynamic. You're adding features, data, services are interacting with each other. The services are actually like giving off data, getting in data. So you have to have a strategy in place, and it is actually when you like carry out regular AWS well architected framework review. That is when you can actually like have all these things in place. That is when you can actually have the disaster recovery and high availability strategies. They will be up to date. So that is building sustainable and resilient infrastructure. It's like this. Also, is sustainability. So when you actually like use the AWS well architected, it will help you build architecture that use resources more efficiently and minimize waste. So that is also addressing the cost optimization when I was like talking about cost optimization. And also is AWS sustainable initiative. That is you using Gravity instances for energy efficiency. So that is an AWS custom instance that will help you achieve that is actually known for its power efficiency compared to traditional S86 infrastructure using many processors. So that is an initiative of AWS to help you have a sustainable to help you achieve sustainability in your workload. So that is that on building sustainable and resilient infrastructure. So we'll be carrying out a demo now to help us look at carrying out the AWS well architected review using the AWS well architected tool. So the AWS well architected tool is an AWS service for you to conduct the AWS well architected review. And I'll be like having a demo now to actually show us how to make use of the service, and I'm presenting my screen in a bit. Okay, yeah. So this is the home page of the AWS management console. This is when you actually like get into your cloud, your AWS cloud. This is what you will actually see when you get into your AWS cloud. To be able to like use the AWS well architected, so what you actually need to do is to like come into this search interface here and type AWS well architected tool. Okay, so what you just need to do is to select it when you search, and it will actually take you to the AWS well architected tool. So you see this when you come here, when you come to the AWS well architected tool, and what you actually need to do is to press on define workload. So what this define workload is actually saying that define the workload based on one of your existing cloud architecture, cloud applications, right? So for you to like define your workload, what you actually need to do is to click on this, and it will like take you to the interface for you to like get started. So what you actually need to do is to like put in the name for your workload, right? You can actually like put in the name of your maybe your project that you have in the cloud, or maybe collection of projects that you have in the cloud. Let's assume that okay, maybe your company, and what you actually your company is a financial company, and what you're actually like doing is like providing financial services, right? So you can actually like put into your name. Just let's just use hypothetically, let's assume that okay, the name of your business is Zenith Loans, right? Okay, let's just assume that that is the name of your business, and we can actually like give it Zenith Loans, right? Okay, so let's assume that is the name of your business. So what we need to do is to put in a description, saying having a brief description of your workload to document the scope and intended purpose. So let's assume that okay, what Zenith Loan is about is providing financial services to to SMEs. So let's assume that that is what okay, let's assume that okay, providing financial loans to SMEs, that is what our business is about. Let's just assume. Okay, so that is that on putting in description. You can actually like put in your reviewer name, you can actually like put in your email, or you can actually put in your partner ID if you are like an AWS partner. But since mostly you won't be like an AWS partner, so what you actually need to do here is just put in your email address. Let's just like go with this email address. So for this environment, what you need to do is to specify if your environment is production or pre-production. So let's assume that okay, our environment is production, and we have a production workload running on our environment. So what we actually need to do is like to select production here. And for the regions, we can actually like select the AWS regions that we have our AWS workload running in. Let's assume that, okay, maybe our workloads, our workload is running in AWS US East 1, or maybe we have like our workload running on multiple regions, right? Let's just assume that, okay, maybe it is running here. It is also running in US West 1. It's also running in US East 1. It's also running in US East 2 here. Maybe 3 regions, right? It could be as many as possible. It could be 1 region, right? So we've selected the regions, right? You can put in our account ID, but this is actually optional. We'll be skipping this. For the application, you can put in the application ARN, right? This is also optional. We'll be leaving that also. Our architectural design, this is also optional. We might actually have an architectural design for our workload or our project. So what we actually need to do is that to put in the link here, but this is also optional. So we'll be leaving this. For the industry type, right? This is also optional, but we can actually like specify the industry we are actually like running in. And since our hypothetical company is a financial company, we can actually like look for financial here. And once we say financial, we can just select financial. This is also optional. For the also industry, this is also optional. You can see so many industries here. You can see capital, commercial, like this is based on what we actually like selected earlier, and this will be going forward, selecting financial services. This is also optional, right? For this AWS Trusted Advisor, we actually don't need to like select this. This is also optional. So we can actually integrate Jira into our workload that we actually are specifying, and also we can actually integrate tags. All these are also optional. So what we'll be doing is to like press next. Apply profile. This is also optional. For the sake of this presentation, we'll be just moving forward and we'll be pressing next. For this stage, this is actually like asking us to select what we are actually trying to do based on why we are creating the workload for, and what we are actually trying to achieve is to carry out the AWS well architected framework, and it has been selected by default. So, right. So what we actually need to like do is to like just select define workload. So that is what we'll be pressing. And once we do that, it will actually like create the workload for us. And what we actually need to like actually do after creating this workload is to like come to this button and you can actually see start reviewing. And what we need to do is to select this, and once we select this, what we see is AWS well architected framework. And what we actually need to do is to click on this. Immediately we click on that, it will like bring us to this interface. And okay, by our left-hand side, you can actually see operational excellence. And if you remember, when I was like walking us through the pillars of the AWS well architected framework, operational excellence is one of the pillars. And if we scroll down, we'll be able to like see the other pillars. We can see the security pillars, we can see the reliability pillars, the performance efficiency pillars, the cost optimization pillars, the sustainability pillars. So those are the 6 AWS well architected pillars. So for all of the pillars, we have questions, right? And if you could remember, when I was like walking us through the verticals under AWS well architected framework, I mentioned the learn, which is the first vertical, which is you learning about the collection of best practices to carry out for the AWS well architected framework. The second one is the measure, and what we are basically doing is like carrying out the measure. This is we assessing our workload to compare against the best practices that are in the first vertical, right? So what we are basically doing for this demo is just the measure verticals. We are actually measuring our workload against the best practices that is in the vertical 1, right? So for all of the pillars, right, we have questions there. But as you can see here, under operational excellence, you can actually see OPS 1 by at this middle, right? And this is actually like questions addressing that we are going to like use to actually measure our workload against the best practices that we have defined in the vertical 1. So for the OPS 1, this is actually asking us, how do you determine what your priorities are? So these are questions, right? We are actually trying to like measure our workload against the best practices in the vertical one. So when you actually like come here, what you actually need to like do is to answer all these questions. And once you get here, you can actually see that this first question is actually asking us, actually saying evaluate customer needs. Obviously, this is actually not clear, and you might actually not even understand what this is even saying. And once we get to this stage or get to this level or maybe get here, what we actually need to do is to like press this info that we'll see by the question. And once you press on this info, what you actually need to like do is to look at your right hand side. And once you look at your right hand side, you can see that okay, this is actually like showing a different color compared to all the other ones here. What this is basically saying is that since we selected these first questions, this is actually like telling us more about this question. And as you can see, this evaluate customer needs is actually like explaining it in details. This is actually saying that involve key stakeholders, including business development and operations team, to determine where to focus effort on external customer needs. This verifies that you have a thorough understanding of the operational support that is required to achieve your desired workload, business outcome. So if in our workload we've been able to like have this in place, or we have this tackled already, what we actually need to do is just to select this. This will actually like indicate that okay, this is for our workload, we've been able to like answer these questions, and this question that this question that this is asking, we already have it in place, and we've already what we have in place is satisfied this question, right? So that is what we actually need to do. So maybe when we actually like once we are done with this first question, what we actually need to do is to get to this second question. And once we also like select this info, it will give us an highlight of this second question, this other question. And as you can see, what we actually need to like do is to like read this question. So if these questions, if what we have in place does not like satisfy this question, what we actually need to do is just to like leave that aside and just like move to the next questions. And we just like keep going like that. So once we are done with this OPS one, what we actually need to like do is to like press next, and it will like take us to OPS 2. So this is OPS 2, and as you can see, this is actually showing done that okay, we've like attempted, we've gone through the OPS 1, and we'll also like do the same for OPS 2. We'll try to like look at the question and try to like see if we've been able to like answer them. And there are some cases that okay, when we look at a question might not apply to our infrastructure or our workload, and what we actually like need to do in cases like that is like to come down here. We'll see these best practices that don't apply to this workload. And what we actually need to like do is that for any question that does not like apply to a workload, what we actually like need to do is to like select it. Let's assume that okay, for this first question here under OPS 2, it is not actually applicable to our workload. What we actually need to like do is to come down here and select this. So once we select this down here, as you can see, this is actually like faded. This is actually saying that oh, this question is not applicable to our workload. So that is how we are going to like continue our measuring verticals till we finish the 6 AWS well architected pillar. And once we are done with that, okay, let me just like select one or two, just 3 for the sake of this presentation, just 3, and let me just continue. And that is what we will continue to do till we complete all the 6 pillars of the AWS well architected framework. So that is actually what we need to do. So once we are done, we click on exit and next. You can see this is like a dashboard showing us okay, the review that we carried, and the review, well, from my little demonstration, what I was only able to like do is to like answer 2 questions out of 57 questions. So once you come here, you'll be able to like see everything about the second verticals that this demonstration is about. Like I said, when you actually make use of this tool, this is you trying to achieve the second vertical, which is the measure vertical. This is you trying to measure your workload against the best practices. As you can see, that this is actually saying you have to high risk in your workload based on the question that you answered. So that way you'll be able to like see what you actually like need to actually do. As you can see here, this is actually saying that okay, we've been able to like answer 2 questions. The high risk are 2, and that is actually what you are going to like have when you actually carried out the AWS well architected framework. So what you actually like once you are done with this, you can actually like generate a report in PDF that will actually show that okay, for this your workload, these are the high risk issues, these are the medium risk issues, these are the low risk issues that you actually like need to work on in the third verticals. That is, which is the improve. The third vertical is improve. So for you to be able to like generate a report, what you actually need to do is like click on this and generate a report. And once you click on this button, it will help you to generate a PDF, a report in PDF. As you can see, this, okay, I don't know if you can actually see this. Okay, it has downloaded, once I selected the button, generate report, it downloaded a PDF. That was what it did for me. So that is, doing that, you'll be able to like see the high risk issues, the medium risk issues that you have in your workloads. So before I actually like finalize the end of this demo, what I want to say is that when you engage us, we actually do this for you. We'll carry out these periodically based on your workload. Maybe your workload, you have like a workload that you are adding features every now and then, and you can actually like keep track of your cloud infrastructure. Obviously, because it is like going to be very cumbersome, and you have so many services, some components like relating to each other, talking to each other. Because you have us in place, and if you engage us, we'll be able to like help you do this, following the best practices. When you have issues in your workload, we're able to help you address these issues. We'll be able to like give you value for money. We'll take your business as if it is our own when you actually engage us. So when you engage us, we periodically carry out this review for you. We're able to like track and say, oh, for this workload, this is actually like against the best practices. We have to like fix this. So when you engage us, we'll help you carry out this periodically. We'll even create a milestone for you. This is milestone. Let's assume that, okay, maybe in the first quarter that we carried out the AWS well architected framework, you can actually create a milestone for it. You can actually create milestones. Yeah, you can save milestones, and you can say, okay, this is the first quarter when we carried out the review. Okay, Zenith third first quarter. Let me just give it first quarter. First quarter, Zenith loans. So that is that. I'll just like save like a framework, a milestone. So maybe once we are done saving a milestone, and we actually like work on the issues that we were able to like find, the high risk issue or the medium risk issue. That means when we actually like carry out another review in the second quarter, that way we'll be able to like track the progress of our well architected review journey. So that way we can actually like create a milestone. So when you actually engage us, we'll make use of all this. We'll make use of these services, and even more for you to have like to enjoy the benefit of the AWS well architected framework, right? So that is that. So I'll be going back to to our presentation. So this is the end of our demo, and I believe you were able to like understand, or maybe appreciate or understand how to make use of the AWS well architected tool. Like I was saying, when you engage us, we'll help you do this and even do more, right? So that is that. So now we'll be looking at best practices for conducting regular AWS well architected review. And the first one is setting a schedule. For you to be able to have best practices for conducting regular AWS well architected review, to set a schedule. You can actually conduct this review maybe quarterly or biannually. This is like going to be based on your workload. It could be possible that, okay, what your workload demands is that you should like carry out this review maybe twice in a month, or twice in a week. Maybe you have like you're adding new features, and you actually want to like benefit from all the benefits of carrying out the AWS well architected review. For you to have a best practices place, you have to like set a schedule. It could be based on your workload. It could be annually. It could be biannually. It could be that, okay, you have like you're just adding new features to your workload. That means you should be carrying out it regularly, as much as possible. So that is one way to actually achieve best practices for conducting regular AWS well architected framework. Another one is involving cross-functional teams. And what this is actually saying is that in you involving your business involving teams from security, development, operations to get a comprehensive view. Maybe you have like a cybersecurity engineer in your organization. Maybe you have like a cloud developer, a cloud engineer in your organization. Maybe you have like back-end engineers in your organization. For you to be able to like achieve, for you to be able to achieve best practices, you have to like involve cross-functional teams. You have to like put all these engineers, all these all these all these teams, put them together. So when you actually put them together, you have like a comprehensive view. You won't be working in silos. Like when you have these people together, carrying out this review, that way you'll be able to like fully understand what is actually going on in your AWS well architected. Because obviously all these people are actually mentioned, they are experts in their fields. So you have to like involve a cross-functional team. The third one is to the action and iterate. This is like treating the recommendations. When we actually like were looking at when we actually like did the demo, I showed us the high risk issues that we found when we were like answering the questions, right, in the measure articles. So you have to like treat all these recommendations as actionable items. So when you actually like see them that, oh, this we have like 5 risk items recommendation in our workload. Okay, let's treat this as soon as possible. So that way you'll be able to like have an optimized, secured, cost-effective architecture. So you have to like treat the recommendation as actionable items. And fourthly is tracking progress. This is you using the AWS well architected tools milestone to track improvements over time. Like I showed us, we can actually like create milestones to actually say that, okay, for this AWS well architected framework, these are the issues that we were able to like find out, and we were able to like fix all these issues. Okay, the next one, okay, these are the issues that we saw, and these are the issues that we fixed. So when you actually use the AWS well architected tool milestone, you can actually like use it to the features to actually track progress. So that is everything from my end. So this is it is actually time for you to like forward in your questions. This is time for you to like forward in your questions if you have one or two, so I can actually go ahead and take your questions. So thank you so much. I'll be waiting to take your questions.
Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation, Moshood. I had a soul time listening to you teach us how to enjoy long benefits of the well-architected review and build a sustainable architecture. Please, if you have any questions, this is the perfect time to put it in the question and answer comment section, and Moshood will attend to your questions. Also note that the demo that Moshood just displayed that teaches you how to harness your long-term benefits, how to use the well-architected tool. If you come to us at Secure Intelligence, we're always prepared to carry you through this journey and teach you how to do this. Moshood, I think I have a question for you.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead, please.
How long does it typically take to implement the recommendations from a well-architected review?
Okay, so I'm actually like to answer that your question, Queen. What I would say is that there's actually like no specific timeline to actually like fix the recommendation. And this is the reason why I'm actually saying this is that, okay, let's assume that we have like two different companies. Let's assume that we have like a company A and company B. What company A might have in its AWS architecture will be totally different work from what might totally be different from what company B might be having in its own AWS AWS infrastructure, right? So what I actually like trying to explain is that, okay, let's assume that for company A, when company A carried out its review, what's the issues that company A were like able to like find? Obviously, they are actually going to be different from when company B carries out like the review, its own review, right? And that means that, okay, what's it is just like saying that, okay, maybe we have like two different people going to the doctor to like carry out assessments. Or maybe, let's assume that, okay, when we have these two people like going to a doctor to carry out a health assessment, health check, what the patient A will find might be totally different from what patient B will find. And I'm pretty sure that when the doctor recommends recommend to the two patients to go and get drugs from the pharmacy, I'm pretty sure that for the patient A, they might actually like when the patient A gets to the pharmacy, they might actually like tell the patient A that, okay, for this drug, you have to like take it for the next 3 months, right? And that might not actually be the same for patient B, right? They might actually like tell patient B that for this specific illness that you're actually trying to treat, what you actually need to do is just to like take this drug maybe for the next three months, or you just have to like keep taking this drug. So what I'm trying to like explain in essence is that there's actually like no timeline. It is actually going to like be the timeline is going to like be based on what problem or what you're actually trying to like fix in your own workload. So I believe I was like able to answer your question. Able to answer your question, right, Queen?
Yes, thank you very much, Moshu. That answer was quite extensive. So I have another question for you. What are the
Okay,
most
please.
basic challenges businesses face when conducting well architected reviews regularly?
Okay, I think to answer your question, Queen, that is a very thoughtful question. But what I will say is that I think what most businesses face when they actually like carry out well architected review is that they actually don't even know what the AWS well architected framework is, and obviously, if one does not actually know what something is, there's actually that person will not even be able to like understand the benefit of that thing, right? It is until like one understands what something is, that is actually how that is when that person is going to like understand the benefits of that thing, right? So many organizations, so many businesses, they don't actually know what the AWS well architected framework is. They don't know the benefits, and that is like the major challenge that they face. Supposing they do know the benefits, obviously they will be able to like start the process of carrying out the AWS well architected. And I was able to like explain using the three verticals, saying that we have the learn vertical, the the second verticals, which is the measure verticals, and the third vertical, which is the improve verticals. It is only when the businesses understands what the AWS well architected framework is, that is only when they will like enjoy all the benefits. And that is like the major challenge that they actually like face, because they actually don't understand it, and they don't actually know how to like benefit from this from the offerings, from the benefits of the AWS well architected framework. So it is until they understand, that is actually where uh, that is actually how they are going to like overcome the major challenge, which is how to like uh, that is how they are going to like enjoy the benefits in essence. I believe I was able to like answer your question, and if I was not, I would just explain again. Was I able to
No,
answer your
yeah,
question?
you were able to answer the question. Thank you very much, Moshu. This has been and is a great presentation. I hope everyone who joined has had a few things or even a lot of things to pick from all the things and all the knowledge that Moshood has shared. Thank you guys for joining us. You can take your business to the next level. You can scale by getting an AWS well architected review, reviewing your environment, reviewing your architecture to make sure that you meet with best practices in order to enjoy your stay in the cloud. We at Secure Intelligence Limited, we are well architected partners. That means that we can help you conduct these reviews periodically, and we can also help you access up to $5,000 in AWS credit. That's great news, right? So if you want to know more about how to access $5,000, how to onboard on the free well architected review, or for the free well architected review we are currently giving, please click on the calendar link in the question and answer section, and it will take you to my calendar where you book a meeting and we can discuss further. Or if you want to know any more about our other service offerings, you can also book a meeting, and I will be happy to come on the call with a cloud expert, and we would a cloud engineer, and we would discuss further with you. You can also join our skill support program. For example, we help under our skill support program. The well architected review is there to help you, right? But aside from that, there are a whole lot of benefits you can get from joining our skill support program. We will basically help you to get a preferred, like we help you to manage your preferred IT environment, be it on AWS, Google, Microsoft Azure, even if you have on an on-premise or on-prem environment, we'll be happy to help you manage. For your on-prem environment, we expertly manage your on-prem IT infrastructure. We ensure that you have optimal performance, you are secure, and there's reliability for your data centers and servers to help you facilitate a seamless integration with cloud services as needed. For our IT support desk under our still support program, we have our skilled technical staff that have been equipped with tools and skills to assist you remotely. So we can assist you from anywhere remotely to make sure that you get support using our IT support desk. We also have our infrastructure management arm. We excel in infrastructure management. We help you to basically optimize and manage your infrastructure with precision. We can also help you assess your infrastructure, like I just said, and Mushi just explained with the well architected review. We can help you make sure that you are living up to best practices with your performance, your agility. Make sure that you are scaling and optimized, and make sure that you have um, great security. We would collaborate with you to closely understand your need and your goals, and also help you chart out a comprehensive plan on how to always meet up with industry best practices to optimize your performance and help you scale. We also do cloud consulting and strategy. Like I said, you could click on the link in the question and answer session, the calendar link, and you can come to us and we could discuss extensively with you and help you build a strategy and on how you can manage your business in the cloud, help you get a clear roadmap for your cloud journey, and help you our lift and shift migration services would help you. We basically have services like planning. We basically do take your services, we plan, we execute, and we help even during post migration support to help you get a very smooth transition on the cloud. So we also do cloud platform operations as a managed service partner uh, with AWS. We can help you basically provide operational support for your cloud environment. So we are here to support you in the cloud. Help you also make sure that you are not paying too much. All your money is not going into maintaining your architecture in the cloud, and you can still scale. Our security operations center is a 24/7 telemetry situation. Our team will monitor your security 24/7 and respond to your performance, health, and security signal. Remember, when you think of us and our support, think fully remote support service, think hybrid support service, and think on-site support service. Thank you guys for joining us today. We really appreciate you always joining our webinars. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one. If you want to connect with us on our social media platforms, on Instagram, we're at @still_teams. On LinkedIn, we are Secure Intelligence. On X or Twitter, we are still_teams. On Facebook, we are still teams. On YouTube, we are www.youtube.com @still_teams. Please note that you can go to our YouTube channel. We have various videos on different situations and different topics that we speak on for our webinars, and you can watch your heart content. Thank you guys for joining us. Have a wonderful day ahead. Bye.